All right, we're here working on this thing today. Working after work on it a little bit. We're working now. We're stripping off the rocker panels, cab corners, getting this pan section down to where it's just a pan section, so we can get it do the little spot repairs we need to do to it, stuff like that. Get some coating put on it. So I'm in the process of doing that right now. It's pretty boring, so I'm not really videoing that. It's kind of long, and I feel it's pretty boring. This is probably not the least fun part about doing all of this. There's drilling spot welds and stuff out. I've got the cab corner off already. I'm working on getting the rocker panel off. And as you can see right here, we're drilling spot welds. Came down through here and found the spot welds. I started back here. That little cluster always sucks. But we've got the cab corner off. We started taking the back panel off. That is just minor, very minor surface rust. That cab corner's in really nice shape. But that's what we're doing today. We're starting to get this thing taken down to the pan. But so I'll video some more once I get some more stuff taken off of it. Like I said, it's drilling out spot welds. I don't think it'd be very fun to watch, so I'm not going to bore you with it. So next one, hopefully we'll see a little more progress done on this thing. Okay, we've got the cab corner, the cowl panel, all the upper piece like that cut off so far, or I say drilled out, whatever you want to call it. The only thing we have left is the kick panel, and this side here will be stripped and ready for any kind of repair work, or just blasting, getting it prepped and ready to go. And you can see we've got all of this stuff taken off. We're all the way down, the outer cab corners taken off, the outer rocker panels taken off. Get this kick panel off and this side will be done, then we can move over to that side. All right, fun times. All right, now that piece is off, so we're gonna hit that with a little wire wheeling on a cut brush before we take it to the blaster. That way we don't have to excessively blast. We can just do some cleanup, spot blasting. But there we go. Amazingly nice inner rocker panels. It's almost unheard of. Same thing like the cab corners. And all right, we're gonna do some wire wheeling, and we're gonna be off to the other side. Okay, this is after we did some wire wheeling on it. Got her cleaned up a little bit. I need to straighten that out a little bit. I got to get the sander in here and sand some of these little spots down. We got a little bit right there, which that's perfectly fine with me. Anyway, regardless, I was going to cut a little window right there because that's where the cab mount sticks through. I was going to do that so I could clean inside that cab mount really good and get something sprayed up in there. Then I was going to weld a little patch piece back over that. So that being rusted out, that's cool because I was going to cut that out anyway. I'll just patch it back in with some good metal. But other than that, you see this stuff right here around this edge. That's exactly why I wanted to get the kick panel off, because all that stuff there would, if I didn't take it off, would have just gotten worse and worse and would have made everything I'm doing, you might as well have thrown it out the window. There's the back side of the kick panel. As you can see, that stuff there would have just gotten worse if I hadn't taken this apart. So, but it'll be all good. I'll clean all that up, and all them holes will go away when I put it back in. I'm going to reuse this kick panel. It's still in really good shape. The holes, I mean, you got to have the holes anyway to weld it back in, but I'll clean it up and put it back in. We went out and did a quick blast. Well, I had to move this off the truck so I could get to the spot welds up here along the front that were right behind the motor I couldn't get to. So anyway, we took advantage of that to do a little spot blast down through here. Turned out really nice. Even all that rusty cab corner stuff, there's nothing rusted through at all. That cab corner is pretty well perfect. So anyway, we're going to get back off to drilling some more spot welds out now that we got this thing moved up to where we can get to it. Well, there's that off. Wound up smacking the tripod. Oh well. But there's the remainder of the back off of there. So now it's just a matter of cleanup and get ready to set it into the other cab. Now we're going to be off to the rocker panel and the cowl piece. As you can see, we've got the cowl off of there, and we're working on the rocker panel now. It's just about ready to come off. There was holes all down through here, all here, down, across, everywhere. We got to pop the seam apart right here. Rocker panel should come off. And of course, there's one we didn't see right there in the corner. We'll get it popped out real quick. Needs to be quick. The drill bits are about done. They don't last nearly as long as you want them to. Eighth-inch pilot hole. A little bit hot, super dull. We're going to come back in with a 5/16 regular bit. We're going to drill out hopefully just as much as it takes to pop that weld loose without really poking a hole all the way through. Well, it went all the way through. Not a big deal. Done. Come in here and find us a good entry point. Should pretty well be loose. It does not want to let go right there in that spot. Let go now. Let's see if we've got everything cut loose enough to peel this off of here. You got a couple holding on over here still. right there is holding. Never as easy as it looks. There we go. It let go. Yeah, so did the inner cab corner. But you can see all of the holes all over this thing. I don't film it all. It's really boring, really monotonous. Doesn't look like GM did a really good job. Looks like you can see that was the only spot weld that was still holding on that whole cab corner. Oh well, makes it easier to clean up. There we go. That's all we're going to do for now. We'll come back at it again tomorrow. On the cab here, or the floor pan section I should say, we've got everything taken out of this side except for the kick panel. Then we have all the piece across the front here we have to take out, and that will be the last, that'll be the furthest down we have to strip down the floor pan. Then it's going to be a matter of patching up the couple little spots in it that need patched up and everything, and getting it ready to go into the cab. Now the cab we haven't messed with. That's going to take a little bit of doing to get that thing ready to go. We got to structure it up so when we cut all the floor pan out, it doesn't fold in on itself. But that's what we're going to do today. At this point, we're going to get this floor pan ready to go. I don't know about the patch pieces getting put in, but we're going to get the rest of everything stripped off. We're going to go back and we're going to re-blast these areas in here and back over there. We're going to blast, get everything cleaned up, get it ready to go. That way we can start our patches right here in this corner. We kind of boogered up the kick panel a little bit yesterday getting it off. We were a little rough with it, but it's still fixable. Still planning on using it. Just going to take a little extra to pretty it back up, you should say. That's what we're doing today. Now that we got that off, you can see what we're working with here. We got a bunch of this old nasty seam sealer stuff. But all in all, it's not bad. I got a little overzealous with the spot welds on some of them. Got a little boogery right there. That was a little mishap the other day, but it's all fixable. It's all good. Just got to clean all that up. We're going to work on getting this kick panel off over here. And then we're going to cut our little access doors for the cab mounts. And we're going to take it out and do some blasting on it and start our patchwork. There we go. Now that panel's off. You can see where there is a few larger holes. A lot of that is there was multiple layers, not just two. There was like 3 layers right there. And the way the spot welds overlay, it's very difficult to get that out of there as cleanly as you can. Some other spots like these 3 here. This one went up, this little pilot hole went all the way through. These 2 here did not. But there's a big hole there, there, which that's not a big deal. I can straighten that out and use those holes when I put this floor into the cab. Those will be the holes that I will use to weld all those panels back together. So having those holes there is not really that big of a deal. We did find right here, we were a little more rusty than what we had anticipated in this particular area. The cab mount is actually right behind these spot welds here, but I'm still going to cut my little window to get in there. And this here, what I will do is I will come in here and I will put me a little piece of patch over here, and I'll use some of the metal that I'm cutting off of here that I'm not using. I've got a lot of really flat spots or flat pieces. I'm going to just reuse the sheet metal that I'm cutting off of here to fix this thing on here. So kind of a way to try to preserve as much of this old truck as I can. You know, even though, like I said, it was a basket case, it was just parts, you know, it's pretty well, after it had been picked over enough, its next stop was going to be the crusher anyway, eventually. So this is kind of like another way to give that truck a little bit of a new lease on life, or a little bit of a different lease on life. Give it some life beyond the junkyard, basically. So I know it seemed like a really nice truck to cut up, all things considered, but it just was nothing more than a parts truck, was never going to be nothing more than a parts truck. So parts, you know. So anyway, we're going to take and get this out. We're going to do some blasting. I think I'm going to cut these little windows first. That way, while I'm out there, I can just get all my blasting done at one time. I'm going to do that, get out here, get some blasting on it. Then it's going to be a matter of coming through and with the shaper and flattening all these spots out. Everywhere there was a pinch weld, that pinch weld raises the material. Like these raised spots all down through here are not from me doing any prying or anything like that. Just that pinch weld, just the heat of that pinch weld, the expansion and contraction of it from a weld just makes that stuff really, really ripply. So to make it to where my new cab corner, or sorry, rocker panel sets on smooth and nice, I'm gonna come through, I'm gonna flatten all that back out, make it all nice and neat and presentable, and get it ready. Okay. Okay, to wrap up where we're at this weekend, we have everything stripped down to where it needs to be to go into the cab. We have our access hole cut there for the cab mounts. I shot the blaster up in there as best I could. The blaster is still acting up on me. I think we figured out that the some of the stuff is getting past the screen that's a little big, maybe. I don't know. But we got those cut out so we could get some kind of protectant sprayed up in there. We've got everything trimmed out around here. And we got everything cleaned up on this side. Small patch panel there. And we can see exactly what it is we need to fix on this side. It's not real terrible. It's rusted through a little bit here, and it goes over up into here. I'm going to use some of the original sheet metal that I cut off of this thing to shape it, put it up in there. The biggest trick is going to be to get this divot here and here put in, because those are factory. I guess it doesn't have to be, but I just want it to look as factory as I can. But we came through and we reshaped a bunch of this stuff, so this is all nice and smooth now. It doesn't have all the it's not all bumpy and ripply like this stuff here is. I've got to come through and dolly and peen that stuff a little bit. We're just trying to move material. We're not trying to make any difference in it, other than we're just trying to smooth it out so it fits as smooth as we can in the cab. I smoothed this down. I got this piece back here blasted and cleaned up to put the inner cab corner back on. So I just got to do a little cleanup around the edges and get this thing ready for the patch panels. And then once that's done, it'll be ready to put in the cab. And then it'll be just a matter of taking and getting the cab and everything ready. As you can see, the cab's in pretty rough shape, which we knew it was. It has, we knew it all along that it's been pretty rough. But we're going to come through here, we're going to cut here, and we're going to come around. We're going to drill out all of these spot welds. Then we're going to actually cut it right here, give us enough room for the pan to fit in. We're going to put us some brace work back in here to give us something to rest the pan against, so we know we have the correct measurement. I still got to take the seat belts and all that stuff out of here, but then it's just a matter of drilling the spot welds out across the back, drilling them all out through here, and we can pull this pan section out, put the other pan section in, then the cab will be stable again. It's honestly pretty flimsy. I don't want to move it too much right now, for chance of possibly damaging it. I mean, there's still a bunch of structure there, but it's still a lot more flimsy than it needs to be. So that's going to be one of our next steps, is getting this thing ready after we restructure it. I want to thank everybody that's watching the videos, that's liking and subscribing. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. It's pretty awesome. Comments, I've had a couple comments already. Keep the comments coming. I'll be feel free to answer any questions you guys have. But anyway, thanks you guys for watching. That's going to be it for this week. Remember to like and subscribe if you like what you're seeing. Share the video, let others see it, and we'll see you next week. Thank you, everybody.